Hey, this is Nick Nielsen, Mad Scientist of Muscle, and what I've got for you today here is a technique that I call extended time volume training. Now, if you're not familiar with time volume training, this is a form of density training that I've come up with for basically structuring your workout most effectively, either with body weight or with regular free weight exercises for time blocks instead of just counting reps. So in this particular instance, what we're going to do here is actually a 40-minute block of time using incline/decline push-ups. Now this is done with feet elevated and hands on a bench. The reason we're doing it this way is so that when you're doing the elevated push-ups, generally speaking, if you just have your feet elevated, as you're coming down, you need to flatten your body out so your face doesn't mash into the floor. With this variation, because your hands are off on the end of the bench, you're going to be able to get your face down below the level of the bench, which allows you to keep your body straight, which allows for more tension across the upper chest. Now, that's the exercise. You can use basically any exercise you like for this. I like body weight movements for this. The concept in general, as I refer to with the time volume training, is density training. So what we're going to do here, rather than doing a single set of a specific number of reps, or even as many reps as possible, we're going to be doing sets of 3 reps. So you're going to do 3 reps of this exercise, stop, rest 10 seconds, do 3 more reps, stop, rest 10 seconds, etc. You're going to keep going like this on 10 seconds rest and 3 rep sets until you get to the point, if you get to the point where you can no longer get 3 good reps. So once you feel like you're about to get 2 reps, end the set and you're going to go to 20 seconds rest. This basically allows you to keep going and stretch out the workload over a longer period of time. So it's a very effective way to do more reps without trashing your nervous system. And because you're using a fairly light exercise, like a push-up, that's why we're stretching it out to a 40-minute set. If you're using heavier weight with free weight stuff, you can do blocks of 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, shorter blocks with a little bit heavier loads. So here's what it looks like. I'm going to run through a couple of minutes of this as I'm doing it so you can see exactly what it looks like. Like I said, the full block I recommend here is longer, 30, potentially 40 minutes of time volume training. So I have a timer set. This allows me to make sure I'm doing the proper rest periods. If you don't have that, no problem. You can just count to basically 8, because once the time to get set up and unset up is accounted for, counting to 8 is about 10 seconds. So set your hands on the end of the bench, right on the lead edge of the bench, feet elevated, and you can use basically anything higher up than the bench. And then do a push-up from there, keeping your body perfectly straight. Now, rest 10 seconds. With these ones, I like to keep my hands in position and basically just keep an eye on the timer. So when you're doing these, you want to make sure you're using really good form, tight form, because you're not doing a lot of reps. This volume will add up over time as you continue with this, so you're basically delaying fatigue. So as you can see, none of the sets you're doing are particularly hard right now. As you do more and more sets and reps, the fatigue builds up and you really start getting into those muscle fibers that maybe you wouldn't get at before. And you can see why this exercise is really beneficial in terms of positioning. In a normal elevated foot push-up, which I'll demonstrate for you here, you'll see, and you experience this, I'm sure, when you're doing these, is your feet are elevated, your body's in the right position for most of the exercise until you get to the end of it. So your feet are elevated, and now, if you don't want to stop where your forehead hits the floor, you have to flatten out, which basically takes the tension off the upper chest, puts it back on the middle chest. So if you want to keep it on your upper chest, this is the kind of setup you'll want to use. If you don't have this kind of setup, what you can do is use your stairs. Basically, hands on one of the, probably the second step, feet on a higher step. That gives you the perfect angle, gives you the lead edge of basically something to grip onto, so your face is going to be able to get lower than where your hands are without compromising body position. So that's 40-minute extended time volume training. You got gym options, you got home training options, fantastic technique, and in 40 minutes, your chest will be on fire.